Hey everyone, I was sick when I recorded this episode, so sorry if my voice sounds like it drowned in cheese graters. Enjoy the episode.
We love to do our homework, and we love our teacher too.
I love the title card is now more pronounced and makes it clear this is for adults. Got it? Good.
I was a good person before it all went down.
Wait a minute. Spindlehorse got Matilda herself, Mara Wilson? Well then I guess anyone can show up.
I hope you all did your homework.
Aw, how wholesome! And since Vivzy is directing, this is going to get super messed up, isn't it? Also, the word of the day is harmony, which she clearly will not have.
9 in the morning on January 8th. The sun is out smiling. And it's your husband's birthday.
Funny how the dunce is the one who knew the important detail. It feels like a subtle way to show off the message of this episode. Everything is not what it seems. Major props to the storyboard artist and animators for this incredible expression. It completely shifts the tone from lighthearted to super messed up.
We're not gonna use things.
Right there.
See, this is why you need protection, children, or you'll end up getting murdered.
Think before you act.
Apparently, Mrs. Mayberry should have gone into professional wrestling. Wow.
Oh, sweetie.
The porno music coming from the computer.
Anyway,
The snake sounds mixed with the glowing red rage she projects is freaking brilliant character design.
I don't think you quite understand how we're operating down here. See, we take revenge out on the living, and it sounds like the core cast of your sitcom of a death, frankly, are all probably down here in hell with you.
Look, I'm not going to keep singing Brandon Rogers' praises, so for now, here's one last win. It shouldn't be surprising he's delivering this performance so well. I mean, he's one of the writers.
You are so brave. Here's $2 million.
This check is brought to you by Warner Discovery. But in all seriousness, with the recent stuff going on, like about the family from The Blind Side, I'm glad Vivzy, Rogers, and the team decided to take a shot at awful people who get the limelight on them that makes them look like saints. It all ties back to my belief for this episode. Things are not always as they seem.
My mama's a hero.
She is a hero.
Okay, well, if Vivzy says so.
Yeah, okay, yeah, my thoughts exactly.
The fact he needs all these buttons really makes me want an episode around all of these scenarios. Moxie getting to shenanigans while getting coffee for 20 minutes is all I need.
Moxie, stop shaking. You're gonna shoot our only hail ham.
I know Vivian Nixon's voice for Millie isn't a fan favorite, but honestly, I like how much more southern she is, while also being incredibly endearing. I trust Viv has some cool things for her.
Maybe like a dad or a mob family. That's understandable.
I know how in the pilot I joked about the foreshadowing of future episodes when everything wasn't possibly fully fleshed out, but now, wow, it's all being set up in one episode.
But to eradicate an entire innocent, seemingly in this instance, upper middle class family bloodline?
Hey, you don't know they're innocent.
Not a bad point Moxie is making, but Luna makes it clear the world is not as black and white as it seems, so always to be on the lookout.
Moxie, I just bought those eels!
I know the Instagram accounts are no longer canon, but Blitz did, in fact, post about buying these eels, and it was posted the same day as the episode's release. Hey, they can finally afford a billboard!
Simple enough for you to handle. It's just a happy mother who just got out of the hospital.
Moxie may be seeing the happy family, but look right behind them and you see how insane they are. Things are not always as they seem.
Moxie!
What was that?
Seems so wholesome and happy.
You can't hide long from me!
Good thing Millie doesn't want to hide, but is sadly caught off guard.
Aren't you cute?
It's nice to have a new critter to play with.
Play with.
An average day of raising children, I see. Jefferson Friedman's score is going full on horror, and it is awesome.
Real quick.
Jinx Monsoon doesn't get enough credit for how well she played Martha. That one line delivery is both hilarious and terrifying at the same exact time.
Stolas, this is a really bad time.
When isn't it a bad time, Blitzy?
What is it?
I've been meaning to follow up on our last little conversation regarding my grimoire.
What did you just call me?
My book, Blitzy.
Like many others, I was sad to see Brock Baker go, but goodness if Bryce Pinkham didn't win us all over in this one moment. He's also surrounded by astrology because Stolas in folklore taught humans astrology. It's a nice detail, and it also works because he's definitely the star of the show.
Once a month, on the full moon, you return the book to me, followed by a night of passionate fornication. And you get to keep it all the rest of the time,
The fact this becomes a major plot point, as well as continuing the best joke from the pilot, is definitely a win.
I cannot wait to feel your slimy inside of my...
As funny as this is, Richard Horvitz and Brandon Rogers describing this moment is probably funnier.
Talking about how sometimes we bring in actors, and Bryce, we hadn't worked with Bryce on the pilot, but we got to that part where Stolas has to go off on this sexual tirade of things he wants to do to Blitz. He's like, yeah, okay, no problem. And we go, okay, we'll just roll and whatever you feel comfortable with. And out of Bryce's mouth so easily, having Stolas and having him and Blitz doing things I'd only read about online. And at the end of this 3 minute improvisation of things he was going to do to Blitz, Vivian and I were on camera just like this.
And then Vivian said, and I quote, "I'm not animating that."
The fact he keeps going.
Billy!
Moxie sees things more clearly when he wants to save his wife. Wholesomeness in the darkness is definitely a win.
Satan, we return your filthy creatures back to the pits of hell!
The casual drop of them being Satanists while looking like a stereotypical white suburban Christian family is gold. Again, things are not always as they seem.
Yeah, that's not exactly how it works, ladies. Sorry, your fire doesn't really hurt us.
A great joke and good world building. Ew, the eye splatter on the camera. A nice but gross detail.
But if you ever pull a stunt like this again, I will you and your wife. Alrighty!
You are going to face your crimes justly. I will call your earthly authorities.
I really like that Moxie is the one trying to find peace in this situation, even if his whole world gets shattered by it.
Oh,
Fun fact, the cartoon playing in the background is the 1945 cartoon Hotspot, which is about the devil watching people transport hazardous material and talks about the dangers of heat. I just think that's neat.
We got it, boys.
Alistair was a little too ready to take them out.
That's messed up. But I paid for it.
And a great final gag to end the episode on. What a great episode to set up the rest of the show. As I've been saying, things are not always what they seem is a running theme in this episode, especially with how the next episode opens up. Vivzie, Rogers, and the rest of the Spindlehorse crew were telling us with this episode to keep watching because there is so much more going on under the surface. And if you doubt that at all, keep in mind that the entire story has been written out to where it's all going, and all the episodes were written before this episode went into production. The Spindlehorse team knows where this show is going every step of the way, so fair warning for future videos, I'm going to look at every episode with that in mind. Another thing I love about this episode is the stellar voice acting. Of course, our main group is awesome, and Mara Wilson was great, but Jinx Monsoon chews the scenery, and Maxwell Adams is having a blast. Jefferson Freeman's score was also pretty solid as well, putting every moment into good musical perspective every step of the way. The Teacher's Song, written by Rogers and Perry Grip, was also a nice touch, and Grip's music for it was spot on. Also, the background details throughout were also perfect. The Lemons requesting service ladies to not be present, the click remote, and the entirety of the murder house makes these worlds feel so lived in and vibrant, while also being great sight gags for those of us that love to analyze everything. Sam Miller and his team did a spectacular job in this episode. Overall, this was a great episode, and I'm beyond excited to continue breaking down the rest of the series. So see you all next week.
Throughout these fun questions, you should know just what to do.
Okay.
2 + 6 is